Hello and welcome to Dreams of Wings, and welcome here to Innsbruck in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. This video is very kind of rough and ready, no fancy schmancy intros to it. We're just really testing the new World Update 6 that's just come out for Microsoft Flight Simulator down here in Austria to do some nice sightseeing, and no better aircraft than the ORBX Optica to do that. So first of all, I should explain this is the ORBX Innsbruck, and we're going to be flying to the Salzburg that's available on ORBX as well. But everything in between is your standard Microsoft Flight Simulator. And stupidly, I've only flown in this area maybe once or twice before, so not really done a huge amount, but it's just absolutely gorgeous scenery. What I'm going to do in this video is try and keep it short. I should really concentrate on the takeoff here, shouldn't I? There we go. Yeah, keep it short and really just see some beautiful scenery. That's what it's all about. And this is pretty stunning scenery, isn't it? Just a bit of trim here. Yes, I didn't put the landing lights on for that takeoff. Interesting. I forget that we're in quite a low powered aircraft here. Let's just trim it a bit more. But the Optica is without doubt the best aircraft at the moment to have a look at some sightseeing. So let's head on down to Zell, and I do apologise if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. It's always one of the things about doing videos in another country is that if you're not careful you can absolutely butcher the language. So my apologies if that was pretty awful. Okay, we can have our fuel pump off now. Another reason why you'll find that this video is a little bit more edited. Normally, if you're new to the channel, normally I try and do the whole flight on the video. In this one, really because of how slow this aircraft is, and down to the fact that I want to keep this video as short as I can, we will chop bits and pieces out. But I'll make sure to keep all the most beautiful bits in. So I have to say, so far, touch wood, the sim is beautifully smooth. No stuttering, certainly on the interior. Seems to be behaving itself pretty well. Some funny things happening with the terrain down there. You can see some scenery that's kind of deformed that only comes back into play when it's nearby, but that might be something to do with, as I say, this is ORBX Innsbruck, and it could be that just needs updating. Maybe, or maybe that's just the way it is. As we all know, with flight sims, sometimes flight sims just do some odd things, and that's just the nature of the beast, and it's something that you have to live with. But my god, this is beautiful. First thing, something I'm noticing that is quite interesting is that the pilot model seems to have vanished from the Optica. Not sure if that's just me doing something wrong, but that's something I need to have a look at, and probably go to the ORBX forums, which are always quite helpful, and just see if I can figure out what that's about. One of the things after an update is that there is that potential for things to break in add-ons. Just one of those things. Well, yeah, it seems to be running beautifully smoothly at the moment. No issues with external panning. Inside, nice and smooth. Absolutely gorgeous. Reminds me, I did see somewhere that there's a way of getting rid of that irritating little line with the downward pointing triangle, the kind of menu bar graphic. I can get rid of it by moving the mouse off the screen a little bit, but I think I have seen somewhere there is a way that you can turn that off without turning off the functionality of the menu bar. It just gets in the way sometimes. It ruins the immersion. Beautiful, isn't it? Stunning scenery. Having a look at the scenery, yeah, I've got a little bit of mesh popping going on. Nothing too bad. To be honest, I've seen a lot worse in P3D. Incidentally, if you are interested in a comparison between P3D and Microsoft Flight Simulator for this area, for this region, check out, there's a video on the channel where I took a P51 from Innsbruck down to Italy. So slightly different route but through similar terrain, and you'll get an idea of really just how damn good this simulator looks. post on the ORBX forum, and they've already come back and said that apparently this was introduced with the world update. Sorry, I'm saying that like you know what I'm talking about. The pilot missing from the external model was something that came in during the world update 5. So and apparently the developers are aware and are working on it, so just in case you've got the same thing and you were wondering and you didn't already know, there you go, that's what's going on. So there we have Zell MC down there. Again, apologies if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. This beautiful scenery. Can't help but think I'm just a little bit too high for looking at scenery, so let's just drop down a little bit. It's quite nice to take the overall view once in a while, but it's also nice to get down and see what's happening. As you can see, this Optica is absolutely perfect for sightseeing. It is the closest thing to a helicopter in fixed wing for this kind of thing, really. Incidentally, there is a very good helicopter out now, the Airbus H145 from Hyper Performance. If you have a look on the channel, I did a video on that. It was actually the last video before this one, and that was good fun. Took it down to St. Bart's. Well, there's worse places to fly a helicopter, isn't there? So what we're seeing down there really is just as it is in the sim. That's not an add-on, that is just Microsoft Flight Simulator, Zell MC. Has to be said, I know there's talk about how the flight models in this sim aren't where they should be compared to something like P3D. If you've never flown P3D or FSX or X-Plane, you don't know the difference. And by the way, that's not being elitist or anything like that. I'm just making the point that you wouldn't know if you've never, if you haven't flown them, you wouldn't know what they are in there. People that have flown them will know that there is a difference, but my God, you know, these add-ons are catching up now, and we are getting close to the point where we can have the really realistic aircraft in this flight simulator. And I really believe that. I know that there's a few issues, there's a few obstacles. I think, you know, there are people who haven't bought into this yet because they see it very much as a game. But I just, maybe I'm just too optimistic, but I've just got such great hopes for this. And at the end of the day, when you've got a sim that is this smooth, watch your speed, boyo, when you've got a sim that is this smooth, and the scenery out of the box is just so damn good. I mean, that is not an add-on, that is out of the box. And if you fly P3D or FSX, you know what I'm talking about. It does not look as good as that. Now, I know there are people that will say, well, I don't fly flight sims to look at scenery. I fly flight sims to fly an accurate aircraft. Again, totally get that, and I'm with you. You know, I fly A2A in P3D because I want that accurate flight sim model. I want the accurate systems modeling. Totally get that, totally understand, but I do believe we'll get there with this, and I just think it will be such a beautiful thing to fly something like the A2A GA aircraft, the Warbirds, with that level of accuracy and authenticity that they have in this sim with this scenery. Can you imagine it? It's just going to be beautiful. And as I say, the add-on aircraft that we've got now are getting better and better. I've never flown an Optica, so I've no idea what the real thing is like, but you know, this flies quite well. I bought this for doing exactly this kind of role. Checking out new scenery, VFR, not doing anything too complicated, and just seeing what the world in this sim looks like. And it looks stunning, which I'm sure you'll agree. Kind of wish I'd been up this neck of the woods beforehand, just so I knew what changes have been made with the new update, but it does look really good. I actually think this is a very exciting time for simming, and anyone who's getting into simming for the first time, what a way to be introduced to the hobby with something as beautiful as this. I think anything that attracts new people to the hobby works well for everybody, because the more people that there are getting involved, you get more in terms of really good quality freeware, and there's some amazing freeware coming out for the sim now. But also you get more impetus with the developers who produce payware to want to produce payware. If there's a bigger market for it, obviously it stands to reason they're going to spend more time and money developing it, and I just think it works well for everybody. I really do. It's a great time to be a sim pilot. Of course, I think the other interesting thing is to see what happens with the other sims now. You know, what's going to happen with P3D, what's going to happen with X-Plane. Now that this sim has come along with its beautiful scenery and really revolutionised how scenery can look in a sim. Be very interesting to see what happens in the others. Obviously I know P3D isn't really designed as a entertainment platform, should we say, but they still want it to look realistic. Quite interesting here, you can probably pick it up, is that we are crabbing ever so slightly. Not got much in the way of a wind though. We've only got a 4-knot tailwind, so that's quite interesting to see. I wonder if some kind of local wind has been modelled around the terrain here. It's quite possible. So we're just coming overhead, and again, apologies in advance for the pronunciation. It looks like Bischofshofen, just down there. And then we're going to be heading northwards to our final destination. That's interesting. Now let's get overhead it, because I think that's what I think it is. If you look down there right now, I'm just going to screenshot that. That looks to me like an airliner that's been caught in the photography, the scenery photography, leaving contrails. You see the 4 lines from the engines? How funny, I've not seen that in this sim before. Permanently, forever baked into the ground. Look at that, there's the contrails heading all across there. How funny. If you were on that flight, you will forever be immortalised until they fix it, if they do fix it in the scenery. How funny, those contrails heading over the scenery there. Just coming over Gonning and the Salzburg. Kind of want to tell you where we are, but also I'm conscious that I'd probably just completely mispronounced that, but hopefully it's not too far off that you can't tell where we are. St. Margaretten down here on the right somewhere, but looking at the map, this is Bergfried, something that is hidden. Hallein, Greece, and the place is Mitterau. Wonderful place to live up here in the mountains. I'm just chopping the power here so that we can descend a little bit, have a proper look at the city of Salzburg. Left it a bit too late. Let's have a look. By the looks of it, got a lovely little castle down there. I can't really tell because the map isn't giving me too much to play with, but by the looks of it, that is Schlosswirt zu Anif Hotel and Restaurant. Watching the speed here because I'm descending like the clappers, but that looks like it's worth a closer look. That looks like something that they have taken some time to nicely model. I suspect, but I might be wrong, that it could be down to the ORBX Salzburg pack, but what's that speed? Yeah, we're okay. That's quite stunning. Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay. Just take a tool down here. Something I'm conscious of is that I inadvertently left this with multiplayer on, so hello. We might see a few aircraft zipping around somewhere like here, and as I'm not on any kind of ATC, I don't want to get in people's way. Interesting. What was that? Let's have a look. That was Schloss Hellbrunn. What a beautiful area. So we'll reposition over here. This is absolutely beautiful. Look at that. The detail. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. That's why this is a good sim. Look at that scenery, is just incredible. And do you know what? Do you know what? I'm gonna tell you because you've probably watched a few of my videos if you've got to this point. I struggle now, if I'm honest, flying in P3D. Because once you've flown in scenery like this, it's so hard to go back, and I tend to now really just focus very much on flying training in P3D, making sure I'm keeping current on the warbirds more than anything. But when you've flown in scenery like this, it's very difficult to go back. Just beautiful. have it. So let's go take a look at Salzburg Airport itself. I don't think there is any other players. Just having a look around. Just conscious that I don't want to ruin someone's approach by flying in like an idiot. Oh, there's IKEA. I do love the names of the items in that's just stunning in IKEA. I've got a clue what they mean, but they're certainly very interesting. I do love a good Vogelstonken bookcase. That was made up, by the way, as you could probably tell. Well, this has been modelled really nicely. Again, not been here, not seen it before, but the level of detail, wow. Just stunning. Let's have another quick look as we're about to cross the runway that there's no one. I thought I saw something then. I don't want to ruin someone's final approach or takeoff. So we've got a little bit of a crosswind, 4 knots from 274. It's kind of veering round between 264 to 284 at the moment, so nothing too bad. Just going to take a close look at some of this detail. Look at that building. Absolutely stunning. The visuals in this are ridiculously realistic. Okay, let's get this aircraft down and let you get on your way. Beautiful area to fly in. Now that I bought this, I can see me using it quite a bit. Okay, let's have a quick look around. I've got the new honeycomb throttle quadrant, so sometimes things don't necessarily match up, but I think I'm there, and I think landing lights is one of them that I've actually got to find the switch on my. There it is. On the quadrant, I actually do need to map. There's some more detail down there. I do need to, draw up some kind of a list, controls list. Just spotted that Bauhaus. I wonder if that's actually the Bauhaus, not the 80s goth band, but the design house. Okay, this isn't an ideal approach. This is a little bit too much like a warbird approach, but let's give it a try. She tends to lose speed quite quickly, so that's not too bad. A little bit of crabbing going on. Drop a stage of flaps. We are high, but we've got a nice long runway. This isn't meant to be a textbook approach. We're certainly not in an airliner. We don't have passengers, apart from you guys, of course. So some more flap. And some more. One of the interesting things with this is that I've noticed this with other aircraft in the sim. It takes a while for the drag to kick in. it down gently. Crabbing quite a bit. Kick that in. There we go. Not too bad. Still crabbing quite a bit. That's interesting. That makes me wonder if something is just knocked out. Just going to reset my track IR. No, we're definitely crabbing. Is it just... Well, maybe not. Maybe it's just something in the cockpit that makes it look a bit like that. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. Beautiful scenery. Stunning, stunning scenery. And I am pleased to say, touch wood, that after the absolute car crash that was the previous update, where I had to do a complete reinstallation of this latest one seems to have not done too much damage. Famous last words. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the flight, and look forward to seeing you on the channel again soon. Take care now. Bye bye.